No opinions of the Japanese public were judged too deeply in the making of today's episode.
Oh dear. Welcome back to No Ginger. I'm Samar.
I'm Ash. And today, well, after we share our No Gingers, we would like to invite you to tea.
It's a tea day, guys.
It is a tea day.
We're going to see what's up.
I have no clue what Samar has brought.
I have no clue what trouble she's about to bring my way.
But first, Samar, what is your No Ginger this week?
So, dear audience, I have been bullied, humiliated, degraded, disgraced by this person here sitting beside me.
I plead the fifth.
You don't want to tell them what you've done to me?
No, you know what? You continue to do this to yourself.
Okay. So I like to wear hoodies and I like to wear beanies. But every time I wear them in front of Ash, she says I look like a condom.
It's not every single time because you have some very cute hats.
Only my Disney hat makes me not look like a
That is
condom.
such a cute hat.
It's a bucket hat.
Freaking love that hat on her. It's so cute.
But every other
but
time,
the top of it, because it's a bucket hat, is flat. All of her other hats, I can't. Okay, listen. We all know what these items look like. Maybe you're assisted because it's just bulging around you. She tried to put her hood on, and it's just bulging around her headphones.
Okay, I think I look normal.
Is this how you're recording today's episode?
No, I'm just demonstrating that I look like a normal human.
For the listener, she in fact just looks like a psycho with a massive hoodie on over her headphones. But her face is still cute. She's still cute. Don't misunderstand.
I don't look like a condom. Let the record stand.
Maybe if you do it without the headphones on.
Should I? To demonstrate?
We'll take a few photos.
Let me see.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna try.
You realize that certain people cannot see you.
Okay. They can judge.
They can't
judge. The YouTube can judge. YouTube people. All right.
Pull that all the way. Nope. How you do it. There you. No, see, you normally. She will normally pull this thing so tight, like around her chin, like this. But actually, I feel this hoodie is not doing you such a disservice as the knit one, which is she has this dark gray like knit hoodie that
I love.
She loves, but she also always pulls it so close around her face. And the unfortunate thing about this hoodie is that at the very top of it, instead of it being back toward the crown of her head, it's like right on top that it forms a point. So,
so I'm a PSA, public service announcement.
Yes.
Do you think Trojan will sponsor us?
I hope Trojan does not sponsor us. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we've come here. This is what we've come to. Are you sure you want to visit my house? No.
It's not my fault. She did this. I was just a happy girl walking through a happy world wearing my hoodie.
Wearing your condom on your head.
It's not a condom.
It is in fact a hoodie.
It is a hoodie. So that's my shoganai.
A hoodie with a personality complex. Apparently so. Okay, well, I'm sorry that I've brought this complex upon you.
Well, now everybody
I'm not
knows.
going to retract it though, so I guess I'm not really that sorry.
Well, I'm only.
You decided to put that information in the world.
I'm gonna wear that hoodie only around Ash. From now on.
That does seem like the way you should. You should only wear condoms around like one person anyway.
All right, you're ruining my hoodie. You're ruining it.
Okay, well, I will also shame myself in this episode.
Okay, what's your shoganai?
Okay, so I went to IKEA. I love IKEA.
Shame.
Yeah, it was. So I went to IKEA. And I had a few things to return. And I just wanted to get back a like merchandise card. So it's like store credit or whatever. And I was having one of those, mental breakdown days where Japanese it didn't exist to me. I could not make a sentence or sense of anything going on.
Those are the days.
I was so sad because it's...
What were you trying to say?
All I wanted to say... Well, okay, I got through the, I want to return this bit. And then he just asked me the easiest question. What's your reason for the return?
Oh.
But his manner of speech was so slow and controlled. And he was literally like, Henpi no shohi no, like, but the liyu wa, like this. And I was just, because of that, I thought he was going to ask me, I just assumed in advance that the question was going to be how would you like the money returned?
That easy? Wow.
Well, because normally that's the next question. The last few times I've been to IKEA, they don't really question. If you have the receipt and you have the items and all the tags are there, so they're clearly unused, they just go. They have a really nice return policy. It's 365 days you can return. So I was really just I wasn't prepared. And because he was so slow on his question, my brain was jumping ahead to other questions that I thought he was going to ask. So then when he asks me, "Liyu," I was like, "What's the reason?" I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I just don't want it. I don't know what to do. I just don't want this. And I'm panicking and I'm starting to explain that I just want a merchandise card, which is totally not the question that he's asked me. Thankfully, I had Bamboo Boy there to shame me and be like, "Shh, you're just not hearing it today."
You're dismissed.
It was like, "You're done." Bless. But on the other hand, because he was there, as a Japanese person, I think that my brain doesn't really engage because I know that he's there, and I know that obviously it's his first language, that he's going to, even if he's not paying attention, he's probably just going to hear it anyway. And so I just don't bring my best. My A game does not show up to the party.
So what you have
when
learned
Bamboo Boy is there
is you go to IKEA alone.
Right. Go to IKEA. No. Go with friends.
Who don't speak Japanese. You have to bring your A game.
So you have to bring your A game and pay attention. And it's weird because I think a lot of the staff members at IKEA do speak English.
I don't go often enough to know
as someone
or care.
Okay, my house is maybe IKEA showroom adjacent.
Is it? Oh, maybe. I don't know. I mean, so is my house technically. I just don't. There's no reason to be there that much.
It was one of the first comments you made when you came over to my house. The first time was wow, it looks like an IKEA showroom in here.
It literally does. It's kind of scary.
Hey. So anyway, yeah, I felt
it's okay.
I felt a little sad. And then Bamboo Boy says to me, he's like, "Are you gonna cry?" I'm dying. I literally was like, I want to shove you and I want to react, but I also don't want to prove that maybe I kind of do want to cry. Because it's such an easy question. It really is. And I just totally missed it. And nothing was going right. He asked me have these been used? And I was just looking at him so blankly because, it's just, I think this is such an issue with language learning is in the middle of a conversation. Once you make one mistake, you can just spiral from there. Depending on the vibe. And my vibe that day was, I am not in language learner mode. I wasn't in Japanese mode at all. And voila, mistakes were made.
I've been here 8.5 years, right? And I have been to Book Off so many times. And I tried to sell clothing recently. And there was a teenager working the counter. And she came over to check the things in. And she spoke so fast that had I not known the procedure of what is happening, I would not have understood.
I remember that.
And I was just like, what? She was just like a
truly
hummingbird.
Yeah.
I was just like, girl.
The speed at which she spoke, I was like, I don't think she even distinguished her own words.
You were there.
I was literally right next to you. Because you looked at me at one point and went, "Hold on, what's next?" And I was like, "Oh, well, she said this," but we were both just but with the power of both minds, we managed to put it all together. and your previous experiences. It was, she really spoke way faster than she had any business talking.
Yeah.
And she wasn't very loud either.
Yeah, that's
She
the
was
worst thing.
really
When the
quiet.
volume is low and the speed is high, because, they're just on autopilot.
Right.
And you're like, I need you
I'm
to
actually
communicate like I am a newborn.
Well, apparently, if the reverse is true, they're speaking too loudly and too slowly, you just disengage. You're just
got too
assuming other
bored.
things. I was so disinterested in this.
What
I was
this
like, I
means.
just want you to take this return so I can go shopping.
I mean, that is always the worst thing in the second language, when someone comes at you with something that you are not expecting and it's off script. Then you have such a hard time.
I swear, like, I really input what I thought was going to be said and started responding to that. And, obviously that was wrong. It was incorrect.
Yeah.
Bad Japanese day for Ash. Shou ga nai.
Okay. You'll be back.
Thanks.
You'll be back at IKEA.
I'm sure I will be back at IKEA.
You can try returning things
soon.
again.
I don't think I have anything to return this time. Well, you never know. You never say never.
You can return my things.
I will. So I can redeem myself.
Yes.
Anyway, Samar, can I invite you to tea?
I love tea.
Just a reminder, since this is only the second time we've done this, in this episode, we have both brought interesting bits of news that we hope the other person has not seen. And we hope. We don't know. We go digging through the news to try to find interesting news. So by default, you might have seen it. But we will catch each other's reactions to whatever crazy news we have brought and see what the tea is around Japan. Let's get started.
All right. Okay, ma'am.
I'm ready. Are you
How much do you like izakayas?
I would say I'm becoming less and less of an izakaya fan these days.
Well, that seems to be a domestic trend.
Oh, I really am Japanese. I'm
Oh.
just kidding.
So this article was released yesterday by The Guardian, and the title is Last Orders, Soaring Costs and Declining Demand Take Toll on Japan's Legendary Izakaya. Ramen restaurants also struggling as Japan's culinary landscape faces economic challenges and changing customer behavior. And basically, izakayas are going out of business as
because their food is bad.
So basically, because of the demographic shift and sober, curious Gen Z not drinking as much, and the work culture changing in Japan, even though they're famous for having their drinking parties, they have declined in recent years. So izakayas aren't getting the business that they did, and of course they were hit very badly by COVID.
Oh yeah,
and
in the worst way.
Yeah, so in the coming years, they are predicting many izakayas will close, as maybe some people have seen recently. The ramen shops are also having the same problem. Yeah. And it was so funny because I spoke to a student of mine. Ramen shops, the cost of ingredients is increasing, but the ramen shop owners can't really increase the price of their ramen over 1,000 yen because Japanese people won't pay for it. So I asked a student of mine, why would you pay 1,500 yen for horrible pasta that makes Italian people cry, but you refuse to pay 1,000 yen for ramen? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I was like, no, it's that is a really good question, but like culturally, I totally get it. Like, ramen has always been, it's meant to be very accessible, very filling. It can, like, ramen, you can go off of one bowl of ramen for a whole day. I mean,
go off of one bowl of pasta for the whole day. Same concept.
I think the number of calories is a little bit different. It could depend on the type of.
That is what the student said.
Okay,
they said ramen is fast food, so it should be cheap, but pasta is healthy.
Okay, well that's not 100% true either. I don't want no Italians need to come
ramen.
for me.
It's healthier than ramen,
yeah, and it's especially like especially if you have like a tonkotsu ramen. That bowl itself, it just looks like a heart attack waiting to happen. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't enjoy a bowl of ramen every now and then. I'm not the biggest ramen fan, and I am definitely much more of a pasta person. But for me, pasta is something that you make at home because I can't like
Flavor, taste.
no.
Stomach.
Shoot.
Create.
I can't not validate. I can't like reconcile. That's not it. I can't I got it. I can't rationalize the cost of pasta to the flavor of pasta in Japan. Like it costs too much for having not a lot of flavor. And you know what the ingredients are, pretty cheap things you can get at the grocery store. So I could go home, make it myself, have 4 times as much, and it will be twice as delicious.
You also lived in Italy, so you know how it goes.
There's also, a little bit of that.
Yeah. But for me, I just hate spaghetti, and all they make in Japan is spaghetti, 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 spaghetti. So
spaghetti is the most boring of the noodles.
It's just awful. Anyway, izakayas are having a hard time.
I have noticed that the quality of food at izakayas, I feel like, has been going down recently.
Well, they also have the cover charge, which is very annoying. And it just, people are drinking less. So they kind of need to adapt. There is a quote from, I guess, the chairman of some izakaya organization. Mm-hmm. He says, izakayas that serve good food and have a relationship with their customers will survive. Like we are still, and serve local food. And I think izakayas were meant to be like kind of a community center for a lot of people in the area. But I think the chain izakayas will have a hard time unless they find some way to differentiate themselves.
No, I think like, okay, if you're traveling in Japan and you walk past like in Isomaru Soisan or something like that, where it's just a chain izakaya, it feels easier to approach because first of all, they probably have a few English signs. So it feels a little bit more like, oh, I can just go there.
They're also open longer.
Yeah, they're open super long hours. And you can kind of see the demographic inside. But very local izakayas are much more closed off. They they cover their windows a bit. It's a little bit darker, so it doesn't feel quite as welcoming. But because of that, for people who are local to the area, they know what they're getting and they like to go there and they are continued longtime customers. And this isn't necessarily just true of izakaya, but even just like local restaurants. There's a few around my area that we've gone to quite a few times and I'm quite loyal to just because I have a relationship with the staff there. I know the quality of food I'm going to get, and I don't even mind if they raise their prices because I feel like I'm always having a good time, like it's worth it.
Yeah.
But if I go to a chain place, I usually leave feeling like it was such a waste of money.
It's also a little bit of a pain to pay. Like it's hard to, you always have to get cash from everybody and split it. And it's just like, I think maybe the bars will get more popular in the future.
I'm wondering, but even like just going to a bar, with the exception of the hub in Japan.
I'm thinking about the hub.
But like besides the hub, most bars in Japan are they're very pricey. You have to really be willing to pay for a cocktail.
Well, I mean, like, I think more hub-like bars might start popping up.
I actually would really enjoy that. I would be really happy to get more bars like that.
Like, in an izakaya, you're kind of trapped. Like, everyone has Sojunomi Hodai, which is like the all-you-can-drink thing. Like, the bill is together or something. But the bars, you can just go pay for what you want and then go back to your seat. Whereas izakayas don't have that kind of flexibility. And the hub, at least, doesn't have a cover charge. That's also really, I think, turning off young people. Young people have less money.
I think the British may come for me on this one, but I kind of feel like hub fish and chips kind of slaps a little bit.
It is good.
They have really for the cost of what it is. Yeah, actually, their curry is pretty decent. For the cost of what it is, which is barely anything, it's like a pretty decent meal. Not any sort of healthy, but then again, if you went to an izakaya, you can get the same amount of whatever, pay even more for it because izakayas do such tiny dishes and just feel like, oh, it didn't even taste like anything. I wasn't satisfied at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, like izakaya, so I'm sad. But I like seeing the chains and like how everything's been going, and I've heard that younger people are drinking less.
I've also heard that and seen it from my students. Even I have a student who was talking about like she's very interested in understanding how cocktails are made, like mixology and such. And she found out that I was a bartender during university, so we were chatting about it. And some of her classmates were clearly like a bit disturbed by how interested she was in this topic. And I thought this is not a big deal. Like mixology is kind of like cooking. There's a bit of a science to it. It's very interesting how the flavors go together, blah, blah. I did not see this as a negative. I liked that she had this curiosity. But the other students were like, you shouldn't be talking about this with your teacher. You shouldn't be talking about this. Actually, you should drink. Yeah. And you should drink less and blah, blah, blah. And I literally had to be like, y'all, like, it is not that big of a deal. Please relax. But I can understand wanting to have, I think with how rough the work culture and connected drinking culture is and can be in Japan, that I can understand Gen Z being far less interested in joining that. Like it's easier if you just say.
It's expensive, even though like I guess we think compared to America or other countries, it's cheap, but it's expensive for them.
Because if you're, especially now with the exchange rate, if you're coming into Japan with USD and you look at a 2,500 yen nomi hodai for 2 hours, that's nothing to you.
But that's a lot for them.
But yeah, especially for younger Japanese who are just starting off working, that's not a.
I think this is the writing has been on the wall for the demographic shift, so they're gonna have to get creative. I would really, really, really like them to learn how to make mocktails. I mean, they can't even make cocktails. But
at izakayas?
Yeah, no. I've seen. It's just awful. But like they need to embrace like mocktails and find another way to attract younger people.
I feel like there's a really great pun that could be made here. Nomi hodai, but the no is like in the same way of mocktail, cocktail mocktail, nomi hodai, no.
No, yeah.
Mi hodai, like no as in don't.
Yeah.
I think that's so funny.
I mean, that would be great because like a lot of people like they don't drink, or like a lot of Japanese people can't drink like physically.
Yeah.
Like they get very ill, and the system in Japan is like, if you're one of those people, you can have orange juice, you can have ginger. It's so pathetic. And it's just like, you can't figure out better tasting drinks. Like you figured out so many good food combinations, but you can't do drinks, which is what you are supposed to be there for.
I wonder if this is also like in line with, you mentioned that a student said, "Oh, I'm happy to pay 1,500 yen for a plate of pasta." But when you go to these Western restaurants, they often have a few mocktail options.
Yeah.
Like, what's the huge one that I keep seeing now? It's called a shrub. It's like a type of mocktail, and it's always something that sparkles. So it gives you the feeling of like the enjoyment of like a sparkling wine or a soda, something. But it's totally a mocktail. Shrubs don't have to be, but they're very good. And I keep seeing this at Western joints, but I haven't seen anything like that at izakayas.
Yeah, I mean, they have like so many things. They could do like shiso, like akashiso something, or like ume something. Like they need to get creative. Here. So I hope they do, and I hope they survive because they are like a.
But I do think
Japanese
that
staple.
More local joints will survive because they have their loyal customers.
But even those customers, I'm sorry to say, will die.
They are aging up. That's
they
true.
are aging up.
They can't drink as much. Just just the other day, Bamba Boy and I were walking around at our own station, and it is 5 p.m. and we saw 3 elderly gentlemen stumbling out of a restaurant. They had obviously had an amazing time. It was we stood and like watched them for a bit because it was hilarious. They were putting on a whole show by themselves, like, not being rude or anything. Like they were just chatting like it was old times. Like they'd clearly been friends for a really long time. So it was actually kind of like touching to see, to be honest. But the way that they were like, okay, it's 5 p.m. and we're done now. Like we're heading home to go to bed. 5 p.m. Yeah, I was like, honestly, oh gosh, they must have been 70 something. Like it was amazing. Though I kind of respect that whole like, you know what, we can party hard and still be in bed by 8. I respected that.
Respect the hustle. Okay. Well, that's that for the izakayas.
Come on, izakayas. I have faith in you. Step
kind
it
of,
up.
sort of. Okay, what tea do you have for me today?
All right, I have found, considering that we've just come into the new year, welcome to 2025,
Year of the Snake. Bring it.
that we should quickly review the hot topics that the Japanese public were polled on throughout the year. These are the topics that garnered the most responses
Okay.
and also had the most shocking results.
I'm worried.
Here we go. So here's the title: 2024 Rewind. From annoying train habits to lack of sleep, Japan surveys hit hot issues. So this is
They're not going to be hot.
yeah.
Promise you.
Oh, I looked through this and I was like, are these problems? Are these things we need to think about? Anyway, number 1, the most annoying train behavior is now ranked as coughing or sneezing. It is specified coughing and sneezing without consideration for others. Topped the list of annoying behavior on trains.
So, if you watch like Japanese reality TV show, it's so wholesome. Mostly compared to American trash TV shows and Korean ones. So, in a way, you can think of this as just so pure.
It
so
really
kind.
I kind of
Their
agree with
life
them. I
so-
do feel that like the coughing, sneezing without consideration for others is annoying.
I agree too.
But
like, I want to punch those people who like cough all over the place.
This rarely happens on like super crowded trains. It's normally like the mid full to empty trains where somebody is just losing their mind in a seat somewhere.
But it's also at the same time you can't control coughing or sneezing.
Right.
So not an action anyone can control.
Like
So
for me, the number 1 is still someone speaking on their phone on the train. That drives me
also
crazy.
annoying, but my number 1 is people
just in general.
who yes, but people who stand in front of the exit on a crowded train because they won't move in, even though the train would not be crowded. If they moved in,
I don't understand.
then there would be room. And it's mostly Japanese people who do this behavior because foreigners don't know about it.
Yeah.
And they do it. Even though they complain about everyone else's train etiquette, they do it so that they can get off the train faster.
But they also, at the same time,
everybody.
Will not like, if the train comes to a stop and it's not the station where they are alighting the train, they won't get off or get out of the way. They just stand there holding on to a handrail, being shoved around, like as people try to get around them, and you're like, if you would just step off of the train and then step back on, you wouldn't have
that sense.
any of these issues. But it drives me
I saw a couple
crazy.
one time. Like it was like a Disney train, like going through Disney, and of course it's an awful crowd. And this guy wouldn't let go of his girlfriend. He was holding on, and he had her like this. I'm just like, this is not a romantic comedy, dude. Just get off the train. What are you doing?
You see it all the time.
I should have been polled. I would have had stuff to say.
I feel
that's
like
the most annoying train behavior to me. It's so
really
inconsiderate.
I remember one time I was getting on the train and it looked from the door, like I'm standing on the platform, from the door, it looked super crowded.
It's usually not.
And so I've been here a long time and I'm not bothered by shoving my way onto a crowded train. So I put my hand up at the door to push in and I shoved because of how crowded it looked.
It was empty in the middle.
And it was empty. So this girl goes stumbling back, and she's like, oh, and I'm just like, look at all this space. You could have just moved out of the door. It's just, there's no logic. Anyway, Japanese
it's just
people,
selfishness.
Please consider, I understand you think that people coughing, sneezing without consideration is selfish, but also not moving out of the way. Also, salarymen who pretend to sleep when they see a grandma come in front of them, quit. We know you're not sleeping. We know. Get up and let grandma sit down. Seriously.
But I do wonder what kind of options these people had, because I feel like this was rigged. already.
Right. I don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
I'm not going to blame people that harshly.
Says Samar after yelling on the podcast. Here we go. The next one is that 41% of people in Japan do not send out New Year's greeting cards anymore. And I think they're right for it.
I like receiving them. I want to send one day.
You need to get a house.
Why?
I don't know. So that you have like a cool address. Return to sender. I'm going to send it right back to you.
How rude. There was 1 year I was very ambitious. I was going to send Christmas cards to all my friends everywhere.
Like
I bought all
globally?
the cards. Yeah.
Wow.
I bought all the cards. I bought all the envelopes. I had everything. I just didn't write them.
That is the hard part though. Like I understand why people make like just printed, like generic printed ones to send, and then like it's got pictures of them or whatever, and then they just have to personalize the address. I totally see where you're coming from. I get it. To my friends who sent me them, your children are very cute, though, I will say.
I really love receiving them. I want to send them one day. I'm just not that organized. But I hope one. But also, like this year, the postage fee increased. So
of course it did.
Everyone was complaining about.
And maybe that's
the
why. That's
New
how
Year
this
cards.
one's rigged.
Yeah, but you can also send them online now. So
then you can even have ChatGPT write it for you. Look at that.
But I would be giving ChatGPT people's addresses. And
don't do that. Please do not. No. Pause. Done here.
So,
done with that one. Here's this next one.
All right.
It's I think it might be made for you to laugh at me.
Okay.
This one says people, especially women, now vote that their number one happiness is when their partners do the housework. Someone who occasionally washes the dishes
and does no vacuuming.
I do no vacuuming. I don't do dusting. I don't hang the laundry.
Except sometimes.
If I'm dragged into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if I have Samar there to entertain me.
There's a ridiculous amount of housework in this house, though.
I feel it's not even my fault.
It's not your fault.
It's just someone keeps locating things to clean.
Yeah. But I mean, I would imagine Japanese women, was it Japanese women?
Yeah.
People, especially women, would be happy about people doing housework. Yeah, that's the number one complaint from like forever ago. That's not.
It's not a hot issue.
These are not hot takes.
Next
one.
What
else could they do for you?
Well, following that is that Japan ranks the lowest among 31 nations in the Love Life Satisfaction Survey for the second year in a row. Do some housework.
This is also not a hot take. I mean, Japan is not famous for romance. So, I mean, yeah, it's...
Where do you think is famous for romance?
Italy, Greece.
Aren't they? Or at least, I don't know. I've never really thought about like a country being famous for romance. I think about France as being famous for no reason, for having the most romantic language.
Supposedly.
We don't need to debate this.
A lot of the South America.
Oh yeah, I feel like there is such a thing about like having a Latin lover sort of deal. But
everywhere else was Japan. Japan's just not famous for. I mean,
there's some cute dramas and all, I guess.
Yeah, but I think Japan,
but I also think like if your love life satisfaction is low, that's usually like, are you putting in the effort?
I think people here keep distance from many things, and being in tune with your emotions is pretty hard as people bottle up a lot of emotions. So it's very difficult to get close to people in general, just for friendship. So then if you put that in a love context, of course, a lot of people date based off of like very superficial things. Like, I think this will be a good partner. On paper, they are a good partner. They don't annoy me that much. So we're going to get married so that we can have a family.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily mean like the love satisfaction is high, but it also depends on what is your definition of love. If it's a
or
love
of being satisfied with
yeah,
it. Yeah.
like if it's whose definition of love is it? Like
And I
for
think coming
Japan,
from a Western standpoint,
yeah,
like what it means to be in a happy marriage does not necessarily mean what it means to be in a happy relationship.
yeah,
When you're comparing like cross-culturally what people are looking for.
yeah,
Can't say I think either one is like right or wrong, but it is just
yeah. I mean,
different.
Japan, like when they want to get married, they usually like the top two is to have kids and to have someone to support them. But it like America, for example, it's love and like to make a commitment, make a promise to somebody, and something else. And then I think number 4 is kids, but like kids are not in the top 2. But for Japan,
We know that.
like family love is kind of I think seen more important than love, like Western kind of love. So it's not depending who did the survey. It's not unusual.
And
Japan,
also depending on like what area, because I do feel like it also depends on if you're very much in a city area, you're gonna get a totally different answer from being somewhere that's a little bit more relaxed, more chill. You know?
yeah. So I think
course.
it really, really, really depends on your definition of stuff. It's not like, yeah, I think it's hard. Like Japan, so many years in a row, like less relationships, less sex, less whatever. Like they're always getting
Less babies, more
Less-
satos.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, it's also not a hot take. Like
It's not
Yeah.
the article that I brought because I thought there's no way we could talk about it long enough for an episode, but I did see an article about like the year when Japan will have its like the birth rate will be exactly 1 child for the year. And it's like
is it the same
it's
time
like
as Sato
20
Land?
it's 2700, so it's past Sato Land, so you know this kid's name
Sato.
is Sato.
Okay.
That's all we
Right.
know.
Oh God.
All right, the final survey on here is that nearly 1 in 5 people admit to using resignation agencies to leave their jobs.
What does that mean?
Do you know about you can have someone resign for you?
Really?
So there's a lot. I'm not an expert in this, but I've seen a few videos floating around the internet of there's so much paperwork you have to do to leave your job in Japan.
Is there?
Because I assume it's because, you know, at the same time, it's really hard to get fired from a
Yeah.
Japanese company. Like employment protections are so good, but they're also so good that it makes it kind of hard for you to leave if you're just resigning and going to another company or whatever. Like it's quite challenging.
I guess if
Or-
you're a permanent, like Seishain,
Yeah.
then that's the case. We are contract.
Yeah, we're contract employees, so
Nobody
it
cares about
doesn't
us.
matter. They will just let us go if we said
Yeah.
I'm leaving. They're like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
But if you're like actually full-time employed, then it's going to be a lot of paperwork and effort to leave. And there's also going to be the whole like, well, why are you leaving and how can we get you to stay? But there's no negotiations, I guess, of like, can we raise your salary and such. So because people don't want to deal with it or the shame of having to face someone and say like, I quit, there are agencies that you can hire someone to go in your stead to quit and handle the paperwork. So essentially you can hire a proxy to quit.
I would like to hire someone to talk to IKEA for us. In the future.
IKEA, please, I just want to return my towels.
This makes sense to me in that I have known many people to just not want to quit because it's such a hassle, and that if they tell their bosses, I want to quit, the boss will fight back.
Yeah.
You're not quitting.
Yeah.
You can't quit. We need you. We're short-staffed. And then they get all this like pushback. So then they can't resign.
Exactly.
So that makes sense that they would run away.
It to me, like this being a thing that happens in Japan, to me it just reads as what a Japanese experience. Like what a way to do it. Just I know how this is gonna go. I know that it's gonna be rough on me and I don't want to fight back. So I'm just gonna have someone else handle it for me.
In a way, it's romantic.
You know what? I do feel
like
that
the boss doesn't want to let you go. This is where the love satisfaction
this
is.
is the problem.
Toxic relationship.
I'm waiting.
101.
Come on, Netflix. There's a drama here for you. Pick it up.
That's really what it is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway, 2024, no real hot takes. Maybe 2025 will be more interesting.
What was the biggest story from 2024 that you remember?
Oh my gosh. It was literally on like the first or second JAL flight crashed on the runway into a Coast Guard plane that was heading to Ishikawa.
That was terrible.
That was terrible.
That was 2 days after the earthquake.
Yeah. And we had the earthquake out in Ishikawa. So
my favorite story of the year was from Akita. Did you hear about it?
Wait.
A bear snuck into someone's house and went under the kotatsu.
Oh, I know. I did see that. I respect the bear.
And then this middle-aged man, I guess, came home. He was happy to go home and be in his kotatsu, and there's a bear. So he ran.
There's been a few good ones this year. There was also a reporter who was fired
for saying
that people can be a bit stinky on the trains.
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. So there's some quality stuff. So I'm gonna say to the Mainichi, next time you do a year-end rewind, think about the real good stuff. This was not it.
Yeah, like poll Japanese people if they believe that people should still pay key money. That's what I want to know.
On our next episode, let's hear about Samar's thoughts on key money and moving. Look forward to it. Anyway, thank you for joining us for tea. This has been No Ginger. You can send your podcast appropriate problems,
or news that you want us to cover
to nogingerpodcast@gmail.com. DM us on Instagram, TikTok, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, share.
Send us your no gingers.
And if anybody would like to send Samar a nicer hat, please do so.
There's nothing wrong with my current hats. Okay.
If you've got a problem, we'll put it on the podcast.
Bye.